If you're someone that opts for a smartphone with the word plus in its name, look away. This is the iPhone SE, second generation. It's so small. I love it. See, I'm lucky. I get to play with some amazing phones, and I've been using this iPhone 11 Pro Max pretty much since it came out. And it's grown on me as a big phone. I've grown to love it. But as soon as I opened this box, I fell in love again. It was almost exactly the same feeling as when I opened the original iPhone SE back in 2016, when Plus phones had really only been around for 2 years in an Apple world. Anyway, the iPhone 6 came out, it had a Plus version. The iPhone 6S came out, had a Plus version. 5 or 6 months later, that little iPhone SE came out in the shape of an iPhone 5 with the guts of an iPhone 6. This is the shape of an iPhone 8. In fact, it's the shape of an iPhone 7 with the guts of an iPhone 11 Pro. Now I'm not joking, it's got the same processor as the iPhone 11 Pro, the A13 Bionic chip. Now, memory configurations and all those things aside, you're not going to get the same benchmarking results on Geekbench. I've tried, but they're very close. This is a very powerful device. It is made for people who are still using an iPhone SE or an iPhone 5S or an iPhone 6 or 6S. If you're using an iPhone 7, you might consider this, but broadly, this is to bring people using legacy phones on a new journey. This is to introduce those people to iOS 13. iOS 13 runs beautifully on this device. It's made to run on this device. This device was made to be compatible with iOS 13. The reason that is because an iPhone 6, an iPhone SE, no longer compatible with iOS 13, and therefore new features, new apps, new security come out, you're not going to get those features. So it's time to upgrade. But you don't want to spend $2,500 or $1,200 on an iPhone 11. This guy here, $749. And you know what? It's an iPhone. It's a brand new iPhone. It does everything every other iPhone does. And it does it well. It has the home button, but it has that non-mechanical one, the very special, high advanced magic technology Apple introduced with the iPhone 7. So it's never going to fail. That's the one thing about that home button. And you know what? In just a day of usage, I'm already back in love with the Fingerprint for Apple Pay. See, with Apple Pay, imagine this is the cash register. This is the counter where you tap and go. Here's how it works. If I'm using my iPhone, and there's the counter, and any minute now they're going to register how much I'm paying. I have to double click, I have to verify my face, and then I click. Not with the iPhone SE. With the iPhone SE, it's off. It can be off. They register how much is there. I put my thumb on the fingerprint reader, I place it over. I don't do anything. I just keep my thumb on the fingerprint reader and tap against the screen. And it just works. That's how, it's something that I've missed greatly about the fingerprint reader. That said, facial recognition has huge advantages. It is much easier to use when you're in app and doing things on the device. So it's only the physical Apple Pay where you see that advantage. Look, it is a 4.7-inch screen. It is by no means a full screen. There is no such thing as screen-to-body ratio numbers with the iPhone SE. You've got this huge, as we call it, forehead and chin. But there's no notch, and it's uninterrupted. Also, the front of every single one is black. The red version, product red, the white and the black all have a black fascia. Now, I think that's a good thing because on darker websites, and especially viewing videos, it kind of disappears. So you don't notice that you don't have that full screen effect. Photography, unbelievable. It has only one lens, not three, not two, only one lens. And with that one lens, you're able to do portrait photography as you would with an iPhone 11 Pro. I'll share these photos on my full review at EFTM.com. But I got to say, apart from some color differentiation, some differences in the light and contrast, the actual definition of the subject in a portrait photo looks pretty darn good to me. It will only take portrait-style photos of human beings because of the single lens, it uses the A13 Bionic chip and the neural engine to determine That's a person. Here's how it's meant to look. If it's a dog or anything else, you won't get the portrait effect with the iPhone SE. Portrait effect also works on the front-facing camera. It's not the best camera in the world, but it's better than the front-facing cameras of the iPhone 7 and the 8, so not a bad thing. Frankly, it's staggering to see the list of things in this phone. This single lens camera, the same as the single lens wide shot on the iPhone 11 Pro. It's recording in 4K. There's a small part of it that doesn't do the same frame rate in different things, but we're talking intricate details on like 2 things that are different about the camera iPhone 11 Pro versus SE. The photographs are fantastic, and the main difference, I would argue, is night mode. There's no night mode, so low light photography is your biggest struggle with the iPhone SE. It's a good size in the hand. It fits all the cases from an iPhone 7 or an iPhone 8, so that's a win for those little shops in the Westfields that are trying to sell all those old cases. Bingo, new market. It's $749 for the 64 gig version, 128 gig goes higher in price, and the 256 gig is $999. So $1,000 gets your 256 gig iPhone, fresh from the factory, full of warranty, and ready to go. There's no headphone jack like the iPhone 8, and it has dual SIM capability, something the iPhone 8 and 7 never had. So dual SIM capability, smashing camera, amazing processor, literally nothing this phone can't run, no app, no augmented reality, nothing, no gaming that's going to lag, and it's all available right now. I think it is out of this park when it comes for bang for your buck. It's not for everyone because a lot of people want a bigger phone. A lot of people like a bigger phone for the bigger screen, for the bigger reading, but a lot of people just want a phone that does everything. This does everything. And at $749, a compelling offer for perhaps parents being arm twisted into a teenager's phone. Maybe not a 13-year-old, but maybe 15 or 16, you might fund them or part fund them their new iPhone SE, and they won't regret it. With the processing power to play all the games and all the video and record 4K video and take great photos in portrait mode, they're not going to be unhappy with this. They're just going to miss wide-angle photos and 2x zoom. That's what you're missing. That's what you're compromising by not getting an iPhone 11 if you're in the market. Also, if you've got parents or grandparents who are now isolated and you can't visit them, maybe now's the time to consider a brand new phone that you can FaceTime them, bring them into the family and keep in touch while we're all socially distant. So there's a lot of great reasons to consider the iPhone SE. I don't think Apple could ever have known that this whole pandemic was going to happen, but frankly, the arrival of the iPhone SE as a budget-conscious but high-spec iPhone couldn't have been timed better. For more details and the full review, head to EFTM.com.